Northstar engine anyways. Figured I'd make a video about this shit. Don't really upload mechanic stuff because I just don't care or have the time to do it. Might as well because it's sitting here and I gotta get some more stuff to finish it. Took the heads off, got a head gasket, gotta redo the head gaskets because it was leaking a little bit into the cylinder. I believe it was cylinder number 1 over here, can't really tell. Spark plug was pretty clean on that one. Anyways, customer came in, thing was overheating constantly. Decided to block test it. After a while started turning yellow. Oh, I have a seal there, but started turning yellow. Knew that the head gasket was leaking, so yeah, goddamn one hell of a job. Anyways, so if you want to get the thing the hell out of here, it's not even worth doing it in the engine bay. It's just too much work. Got some pretty annoying shit going on here. 2 10mm bolts for this. You have I took the head out, but you don't see it. Other exhaust sits right here. You have one back there. 2 10mm, 2 15mm. Got to heat the hell out of the thing. Get those out. And then you have a bunch of simple stuff disconnect. You do not have to take off the harness for this. You have the computer harness goes all around. You have a lot of stuff that you'll have to disconnect if you want to do it. Easy way is, if I could find the damn fuse box. Basically, I have a fuse box sitting up here. If I can find the thing, it's all the way over here. Fuse box goes on the passenger side of the car. You have these blocks, they basically sit inside the fuse box. You have, I believe they're 7mm bolts. You have 3 sets of them. If you just take the 7mm and screw it the whole way, it'll come out and you can just slide it out of the bottom of the fuse box. So you don't have to take the harness that goes to the lights and everything. Yeah, once you get that harness out of the way, there's some stuff you have to disconnect. The ABS lines, they come around, go to the master cylinder. You just have to take off these 2 from the master cylinder. I took off the whole thing. They go to the side of the inside of the thing. It's hard to see. Basically they go around here. You see that master cylinder up there, come out, get those 2. Take off the shocks. You can just take off the bolts, it'll come out with it. Then you have 1 2 3 4 on each side. 1 2 I took off in this so you can't see it, but you see you have 1 there, 2 on the back, 1 on the front. Once you get those, it's basically ready to go down. If you're lowering it with a subframe, you basically don't have to disconnect anything. The whole thing comes out. You have 2 ABS lines that run to the back. Can take those 2 out. I don't think you have to mark it. Once it goes back in, you can kind of tell which one goes where. The harness comes around. You have one that goes to the O2 sensor. You got to drill out the damn thing because it kind of sits in this bracket up here. Little cover. I have no idea where the hell the thing is. Well, yeah, you have a O2 sensor connector coming out the back. I believe it's somewhere over here on this harness. You have a lot of the stuff from the injectors. You can just disconnect all the injectors. It's pretty simple. You pop it up. They sit in here like this. It's hard to do with one hand. But basically you pull this up and then you push. Hard to see, but basically if you push up on the top of it, it moves that little clip in there. You see it just barely moves. You can pull them, they kind of come out pretty easily. The shifter cable, you have to disconnect the shifter cable, the throttle cables. I took off the throttle. You have this manifold pressure sensor, whatever the hell. The throttle cable goes into there's 2. You have one for this is a Cadillac Deville. So you have a cruise control cable and normal throttle cable. You have those 2. Kind of pop them out with the connector. The throttle cable, it's kind of tricky. If I can find the throttle position thingy. I don't even know where the hell the thing is. You have a lot of parts that come out of the thing. Here's the fuse box. So you have 3 sets. You take off 7mm bolts, they screw out. It's kind of hard. I don't think you can mess up the order. They only go in one way. Where the hell is the goddamn... Whatever. Basically, you have 2. You can pop out the throttle for the cruise control. It's pretty simple. It just comes out. But then you have the throttle cable. It kind of comes around here. You have to basically, if you have somebody there to help you, have them hold the throttle open the whole way. And you can kind of like push something in there, pop it out the back, and it'll come out. You have 2 injector lines. They come sitting here. You have, it's pretty impossible to take them out any other way. You'll have this little plastic piece, you set it in there, push the actual push the fuel line down, pop it in there, pop it up, it should come out pretty easily. Son of a bitch to get out though. You got that. I forget how this comes out. I believe it just slide out. Damn, I don't even know what I did for that. It just kind of came out of there. Unless it sits in. Oh, that's gonna be a bitch to put back in. Fuck, I didn't even think about that. But you have this son of a, holy shit, that is actually AIDS. Anyways, it's pretty simple. If you drop it out the bottom, you don't have to really disconnect much. Just the ABS lines, the harness comes out. There's several brackets, that little clips that connect to the side of the frame. You can just pop those off, should drop out pretty easily. You have some stuff on the side for the cam position sensor. Sits right here. It's on the side of the side of the wall, so you watch out when you're lowering it down. Yeah, this thing's a piece of shit. Fuck Cadillac. Goddamn motherfuckers don't know how to design shit simple for shit. But oh my god, taking the heads out. I don't know how the fuck to get this bracket out of here. It kind of sits on this bolt. I fucking took it out and didn't want to move. But that sits on that. I believe that's a motor mount. You have to probably jack it up. If you can't, take this out before you lower down the engine, because you have two motor mounts that sit on the side, apart from the ones that sit on the actual subframe. If you can, take this out. It will save you a lot of time. You have two, again, 10mm bolts sit down there. If you have to heat it up, you should be able to take it out pretty easily. O2 sensor that sits in the manifold. Oh yeah, and then you have this little water pump pulley over here. It's pretty annoying. When I put it back together, I guess I'll make a second video, but for now, basically, you have the water pump pulley. You have this big, I don't even know what the hell you call the thing. Big pulley that sits on the end of one of the camshafts. You have to have a special tool to pull it out. I grabbed one of the, got one from AutoZone earlier, even though I had another one sitting at the shop I didn't fucking know about. But you have one of these things, basically. Slide this off. You have two little clamps that clamp to the side of the thing. I have no idea where I put that either. Anyways, you have the little things, you clamp it, you pull it, put it in there, you screw it in, it should pop off pretty easily. It's one hell of a bitch. Do not try to use a normal pulley puller. You will snap the plastic, so you will need a special tool for that. Water pump sits there. You don't have to take the water pump out. You have two little brackets on there, 10mm bolts. You can screw, get out the way, then you can get access to one of the 10mm bolts on the bottom for the valve cover. Get the valve covers off. You can take, there's three 10mm bolts. The rest are, I believe, 10mm hex. Yeah, 10mm hex. The way that I did it, I broke 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so from the middle. When you put it back in, I would assume you go from the outsides in. Torque specs, fuck if I know or care. We'll put it in one way or the other. As for the timing is one hell of a bitch. I will show you real quick. The timing, basically, you're gonna try to, you have two markings here. If I can get this mounted up. Two markings, one marking here, one marking there. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if you can see on the camera. You have this little dot here, whatever the hell that's for. But you have these two markings right here. You want these to be this close to each other for it to be top dead center. And then on the actual head itself, you will see there's a top dead center marking on each of them. You want to keep rotating the engine until these two are there, and as well as the top dead centers in both of them. When it's under tension, it is perfectly straight. The camshafts, they have 5/16, so if you have 5/16 wrench, you can actually spin it. They sell a timing kit that has like some brackets that you can basically keep in time. Too goddamn lazy. I could have made my own, but I'm just gonna use wrenches to keep it in time. Basically, you'll have here two tensioners each side, one up here, one down there. This one goes that way, that one goes this way. You have two 15s, or I believe they're either 13 or 15. You take it out, you'll be able to slide it out. It'll be a little bit loose. Then you have this, I think it was T30 or something, I don't know. You see T30 little caps that go on the sides. Oh, you see, I have all that shit there. You have these little caps, you take them off, you'll be able to see the bolt. Take the bolt out, you'll be able to slide it out. Hopefully there's enough slack on the chain you can get it out. If there isn't, there's going to be another two caps here, one there. It's access to one of the bolts. I believe those are 10mm. Or are they 10? I don't know. It's whatever the fuck these ones are. I believe it's 10. Yeah, I think these are 10. So they're 10 mil bolts. You have 2 of them. You can slide the guide out. Once you slide the guide out of the way, there should be enough slack in the chain. For this one over here, when it's in top dead center, the chain is actually under tension because the valve is being pushed on. What you can do is you'll have somebody up here, I think it was, yeah, release the tension on it so it was straight, take out everything, and then you can slide the chain off, and then you let go of the thing. You can give a fuck less. Once you get the heads back on, you have to put it back into time. Yeah, this thing's a piece of shit. I mean, there's no way you can do it in the engine bay. I mean, some people can. Why you waste your damn time with a thing? To get access to all the bolts, I mean, to even get the harmonic balancer off, it's just one pain in the ass. I had to heat it up with my lovely little oxygen propane setup right there. Works like a goddamn charm. You have a little oil pump down here. Again, I believe these are 15, 13 mil bolts. Whatever you slide that off, you can get to the chain, everything. Bolt itself, I don't know, I think it was like 18 or something, 18 or 19 mil, I believe it's 19. All of these are 10 mil. It's an interesting thing. It's a fucking imperial, but then some of the bolts are metric and you can't go 3/8 on them. Some over here. When you're taking off the actual engine mount, you have to be careful. There's some bolts over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not really making this video as like a guide. I'm just telling some random bullshit facts about this thing because it's like one pain in the ass. When you're taking the heads off, there's a lot of bolts that go around the thing. You have to make sure you get them off. This one here goes to the second exhaust pipe that goes to the other side. You have to get this off. I believe those were all 13s. I'm not 100% sure. Good luck keeping a track of which bolt goes where, because holy shit, this thing is complicated. You have some EGRs that come sit around. You can just take those out of the way. This I loosened up even though I didn't really have to. Transmission that sits in the thing. It's one hell of a thing. I mean, the gaps for like taking these bolts off are just absolute garbage. Had a mouse that I think chewed on one of the cables. Motherfucker burned to death in there. That's kind of shit. Yeah, it's a Cadillac. Oh, the shifter cable. Here, I'll help you guys out real quick because this one was one hell of a pain in the ass. I can get all this shit out the way. Oh yeah, when you're taking these out, check the spark plugs. If you see that they're clean, which one was clean? If one of these was, a few of them are, I guess. You see, if you have carbon deposits on there, that's good. If they're clean, that means you get coolant in there. It's kind of washing it all out. I think this whole side was leaking. Damn, that's interesting. But the shifter cable over here, it's all the way up in there, if I can even find the damn thing. You have this long cable. You see that thing right there? Basically, you have like these springs. You have this plastic retainer. Oh, let me find it. I've got a fuel tank for this, Susan. You have this plastic retainer and this metallic piece. I forget which one goes where. You pull them out all the way. You'll have the spring in there when you take it the whole way out. You pull these up and out, and then it's going to move around a little bit. It's going to be sitting in here. You see this plastic clip comes out. I forget where the metallic one I think goes in the back. You pull those both out, and that's you're going to be able to pull it. It's not going to go the whole way. You have these two little nubs. You have to push them in to be able to get it out. All I did was break the top one off. I can't really show you without getting the damn cable. Oh, please don't fall. Oh, fuck, there we go. Yeah, so basically, it's hard to see if I can get the light in here. You have this little plastic clip. It sits in the thing like this. I believe the clip was on the bottom, the one that I broke. This is the top one, you just snapped it off. The bottom one, it's going to be sitting there, it's going to be a pain in the ass, you're not going to be able to get it. Just pull it hard as hell, it'll snap, come out, you'll be able to pull the whole thing out, there'll be a spring with it. Yeah, this thing is a fucking pain in the ass. And then this, you just pop it off with a screwdriver, should just come off. It has like a little, all GM cars have this, it has a little thing in there. You just pop it off with a screwdriver, try not to break the plastic, even though I don't know how you would be able to. Just sits in there. Pull it, yank it out, it'll come out like it's nothing. Yeah, a lot of the stuff you don't really have to disconnect. There's like the transmission cooler lines. Here's one, I forget where the second one is. Oh, I don't know, I think the second one's up in there. This one's for the top, the second one goes down to the bottom. It's kind of a pain to get out. If you can't get access to this, you can just take it off the actual transmission itself. Wherever the hell thing. Oh yeah, it's right here. You take it off, be able to get it. AC lines, please do not fucking just discharge this shit out into the open. That's not good for you or the environment itself. R134A is not really an ozone agent, but at the same time it's not really just good to release out there. I have this little compressor back here. If you can't do it yourself, bring it to a shop, they'll extract it for you. They really couldn't care less. You have this thing right here. You hook it up to the manifold gauge. It'll suck it through. You have an inline filter back there, it's hard to see. You put this to the bottle sits over, there's a bottle over there, but that has like 401 or something in it. Yes, you have this little bottle. These are all R12 fittings, so you need adapters for them. Damn, this video is going to be long as fuck, but yeah, R12 adapters, whatever the fuck you need for it. R34, R134A. I believe these are R12. They're slightly different. I believe it's like 1/2 inch to 1/4 SAE or something. I don't fucking know or care. Got a nice little gauge right there. But pull it out, suction, you'll be able to take these out. There's 2 little bolts in the bottom. It's going to be hanging around. You can actually kind of bend. You have the high pressure, low pressure. It's hard to see. Let me get this little flashlight. You see that one sits there. You have the AC pressure sensor right there. I forget which harness that hooks up to. I took out the other one not knowing I could take out the fuse box. Yeah, you have a lot of little hoses here and there. I believe, yeah, that one goes to the bottom of the coolant tank. You have these 2, these are for the heater core. If you can't get these out because they're rusted and sticky, what I was able to do is use one of these little picks. I have the straight one. You can kind of stick it because those 2, they go up to here. There's one here, you see how it's rusted. One and then a second one. Fuck knows where the hell that one went. Yeah, but anyways, you have this one. You can just stick it in there, put some oil on it, try to go around it, break it loose, you can pull it off. You have the first one, here's the second one, same thing. Just stick it in there, loosen it up, be able to pull it off. Some other hoses, these go to the radiator. This goes to the, I can't remember, I think this went to the EGR, whatever the fuck you call that thing. Comes off the exhaust. A lot of this you don't have to disconnect if you take it out the bottom. If you raise it off the top, shit man, I can't help you. There's so much stuff you're gonna have to disconnect, including the transmission and all of that. Or, the transmission can come with it, you just have to take the axles out. My suggestion, don't even touch this thing. If your engine's fucked, I don't know what the hell, swap it for an LS if you can. You don't want to deal with this bullshit. But if it runs, it runs. Until then, it's a piece of shit. Heads, I will do a second video on. I have to redo the valve seals. I believe this engine has 200,000 miles on it, surprisingly. Don't know how the fuck it still even exists. But yeah. It's a car. Piece of shit though. Alright, well, any questions, leave them in the comments. Someday I'll be able to respond to them. I'm one busy ass motherfucker nowadays trying to get all this shit out of the way. Just to sum up the video, if you got this, pull that out, 7mm, be easy, yeah, alright. Part 2 of the goddamn cylinder head motherfucking goddamn Cadillac, son of a bitch. Cadillac Deville 2004, I believe. You got 2 heads over here, the head gasket was leaking. Basically took the camshafts out, label everything, you don't want to misplace it. Got these 2 for the bottom 4 for the intake, and then the top 5 for both sides. Got lifters, the rockers, you got the caps, you want to mark each spot because if you mess up the order of them, shit man. Got the camera smudged. I don't know how smudged that was, but yeah, basically mark. I gotta get a valve tool to actually pop these off because you have to push down. You have these 2 little shims in there. You take those out, the actual seat will come off. This is for the side of the front. This is for the rear. You have the MAF sensor, the O2 sensor that was going to the connector down there. You also have the cam position sensor. Basically on the exhaust, yeah, that's the exhaust side. You'll have this little weird thingy yeah, that kind of tells the position of the sensor. Mark where everything is. It's pretty easy to misplace it. This is the exhaust side on the top, bottom intake side. Same thing with these two, these are the same. The top dead center mark, if I can show you, I'm blind as hell right now. You have the top dead center, that little dimple on the bottom right there. Top dead center, same thing, you have the little dimple right there. I have pictures on my phone, I'll put that on the video once I find the damn time to edit this thing. Nobody has any information about this engine. It's kind of like this mistake that nobody wants to look at. There are some guys here and there that do this for, what, $2,000, $3,000, whatever the fuck they charge for it in Chicago and stuff like that. Oh, we got a bitch in the back of the video, uh-oh. But, yeah, this thing's a piece of shit. Tomorrow when I get the valves, I'll do a video on that. Basically it's a 200,000 mile engine, so I have the valve seals right here. I'll put those in, clean everything off. Before you do that, you want to, here, I'll do it this one because this one's easy to flip over. Oh, things look heavy. If you're doing the heads on these, you want to be able to go clean all of these off. Go around. I have like a spinny pad thing, I'll show you in a second, but you go around, buff it, clean it off. You want as little material as you can on there. Get it scraped a little bit, whatever. You don't want to use a hard grit sandpaper because that'll actually mess it up. Unless you have some kind of sealant or whatever. I have these pads here. I don't have the drill back here, but you have these little pads, nice, not too abrasive. They're using for the tires. Show right here, whatever the hell that is if you want to look it up. Basically stick it on the drill, spin it. Got all of these seals for the gaskets, everything for the intake manifold and all of that wonderful bullshit that nobody wants to deal with. Bolts, how I took them apart, you did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then when you put it back in, I assume you want to do the other way. As for the torque figures, I don't know. I'll put that in the video if I ever do find them. Other than that, I guess, I don't know, fucking 50 foot-pounds, random number I'm just going to throw out there. When you take off the heads, you have 3 right here. The rest are all 10 millimeter 10 mil hex. You want to break them loose, not with the impact. Get a breaker bar, put a bar in the end of it, break it loose. And then after you get them loose, you can go back with a drill, whatever, take those out. Should come out pretty easily. If you don't want to come out, while you're unscrewing it, you got to pull it up at the same time. It'll come out that way. As for, oh yeah, the valve covers. You have these valve covers that sit on here. The first one, I can't remember. I believe you have to take off the ignition coil setup. You basically have, I can't remember which way this sits. If this sits in the front, yeah, this is the front. You would have the actual thing go along like this. You would take off the connector in the back. There's bolts all around it. You have to pop it up and then try not to break it too much, but you should be able to just pull it up. Take that off. Then for the cover itself, you have to go around, take them. This bolt right here, it is covered by the water pump little idler, little pulley thing. Gotta get a pulley remover for that. God, I fucking hate this thing, but I guess if you want a job to do, don't do it. I mean, they built this for a reason. Oh yeah, there's little 2 covers. You can take these off. I believe those are T30 or something along those lines. Not T30. I was using a hex. I had 6 mil, 6 or 7 mil. I believe it was 6. You can take those out. Then you'll have access to the timing chain guides. Those guides go down to the block. I believe this one is the one that adjusts. That's the one that is static. Same thing on this side. You have the 2 there. You can take them out. It's built some slack in the chain. Camshafts themselves. They sell a timing kit for this, where it gives you kind of this brick that, not brick, but a plate that goes across, holds these 2 in time. Oh my god, that's a mosquito right there. Fuck you, bitch ass motherfucker. Huh, dead. Anyways. Yeah, you have 15/16. I have 2 wrenches, luckily, so I can actually do this without the thing. But if you can, if anything, just make a bracket. They go across, I believe it was, 3 9/16. believe between these two, if they go this way, goes 3 9/16, and then each one's 5/16. So if you wanted to make a bracket, you go there, measure it out first, you know, do what you got to do. But 3/16, somewhere right there after the 1/2 inch, just one tick after 1/2 inch, you can cut it, put it, make a thing for it. I can't be fucked to do that because I'm just lazy right now. God, I hate this thing, but yeah, enough rambling. I'll upload video tomorrow. Yeah, bye. Figured I'd upload one last thing before I end this for the day. These are the coil packs. They sit on the actual valve cover itself. I believe it sits like this. They'll be sitting there. You have these spark plug thingies, basically clips into there. Fuck if I know how the hell that goes back. And I'm assuming the springs just push back onto it and delivers the current to it. When you take the actual covers themselves off, be careful. You have seals in the back of them. If there's oil in the spark plug wells, just use RTV. Honda Bond is the best shit out there you can get. And then finally, for this little intake fucker right here, two things. You have the intake, throttle position thingy, throttle fucking, what the fuck do you call that thing? Throttle, whatever. You have the pulley, sits on the back of the thing like this, sits right here on the camshaft. You got to get a puller, basically sticks a thing in there, pulls it out. You want to be careful because this thing breaks super easily. Do not use one of the little pulley thingies right there because it'll break the thing. As for the actual throttle itself, the cable that comes, I believe the fuck, I don't remember. It's you have one for the cruise control and one for the throttle itself. The cruise control, I believe, goes on this one. I'm not 100% sure, but the actual throttle cable itself goes all the way to the back. It will be under tension and normal. If you have somebody that can hold this open like this, it will be basically horizontal. You can stick something in there and basically pop it. It should come out the back. You'll be able to take the cable out. That's one hell of a bitch. Yeah, that's the last thing I wanted to say. Thing's one hell of a bitch. You do not want to mess with this if you don't have to. Other things, starters inside of the intake, for whatever fucking reason they wanted to do that. Yeah, I don't know. That's retarded, but yeah. Cadillac, son of a bitch.